everybody. I'm TK, and welcome to Inside the Mead Maker Studio, where we explore the world of mead making, get to know mead makers from around the world, and catch the buzz on some of the greatest meads around. Tonight, I'm going to be speaking with Jonathan from, I believe it's pronounced Ananke Mead Company, but we're going to let him talk about the pronunciation of his name and the history and the background and all that stuff. Looks like we've already got some people popping in. Appreciate everybody stopping by. What's going on, Dad? Always love when you're able to show up. Jimmy, appreciate you on all those beers earlier this week. All right, accept the invite. Will it be on a first chance, first try success? And of course not. I've been watching lots of different other live videos, and oh, it was Holy Christmas. It was live on the first try. You're a lucky man, Jonathan. You need to come to more of my videos.
Well, I've seen like the last two, and I was like, I'm gonna try to make sure that at least I'm good on my end.
Right.
I was like,
Oh, dude.
I'll get the computer and all that, and I'm looking. I was like, oh, it doesn't let you use the computer. So
Oh yeah, no. They make it so incredibly difficult, which is ridiculous. And like I said, I watch people that have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they have the same problem. So now I don't feel nearly as bad.
yeah.
Well, as I was saying, this is Jonathan, and go ahead and introduce yourself and let me know how to pronounce your mead name properly, so I stop butchering it.
No, for sure. My name's Jonathan Motil. I am the owner of the Ananke Mead Company.
A non-key. Okay, there we go.
So Ananke, if anybody's not familiar, she was the primordial Greek goddess of fate and destiny.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I'm not up on my Greek gods and my Latin and all that stuff. I am very out of date. So.
Yeah, I mean, me and my wife, we were going to name our child, if it was a girl, we were going to name her that, and ended up deciding not to do that, but we kind of kept that name at the back burner. And my biggest thing was when I was coming up with the name in the business, and I'm not the most creative type of person. So when it comes to something as simple as just like, what's your brand name? What's your name going to be? I'm like, I don't know. And then I just was like, that was the name.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's cool. At least you have like a story behind it. Some people are just like, we kind of just, pick some stuff that fits and, it suits us. So,
Yeah,
having something behind it.
yeah,
I
for
guess as
sure.
long as it works for you.
I was just at a point in my life where like the career that I had, it wasn't conducive with, raising children. I was gone. I was in a hotel like 3 months out of a year.
Oh, yeah.
For years. And it was getting to that point where, like, my oldest son at the time was really starting the distance and the time away was really starting to affect him and my younger son at the time as well. And, just life takes you. A lot of curveballs are thrown, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
just getting to the point where like I can't do this anymore. I need to do something else, and I've always wanted to own my own business. I've always wanted to not ask permission for time off.
Well, definitely not having to ask permission when you're the boss. So how long has the meadery been in existence? When did you make that transition from the, say, corporate world to the meadery world?
So I got my state liquor license in February of this year.
Oh, so very recently. Okay.
Yeah, very recently. My first batch was done in May, and
Okay.
I've done 4 batches now. So.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
how were you a home brewer before you decided to go commercial? Is it something you've been doing for a while, or is it just something that kind of sparked your interest and you decided to dive in head first?
I mean, I've been doing it at home on and off for like 10 years, I
Oh,
would
okay.
say. Yeah. I've been a beekeeper since I was a boy. And yeah. And I took a break. I joined the Marines. I did that for 5 years. Then finally, when I got a career job and got a house, I was like, you know what, I want to start beekeeping again. So that year we had like 120 pounds of honey, and I was like, well, I mean, two people can't eat that.
Eat.
And
Right.
I could have sold it, but I was like, you know what? Because I was doing beer. I was interested in doing beer, and it was okay, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get recognized, I suppose, get medals.
There's a lot more competition in the beer world than there is mead for sure.
So I was like, I mean, I like the technical process of beer. I like how each step, like there's, you can fine tune, et cetera, or do whatever. But I like mead because I've been a beekeeper for so long, and
Gotcha.
I also enjoyed the simplicity in terms of the process with it.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about boiling. You don't have to worry about crash cooling and that sort of thing. And my first batch was a multi-berry mellow. I think I have like one bottle. I did that like 10 years ago, and it got oxidized. It tastes like port, cherry, or whatever.
Like a nice sherry,
yeah. And
okay.
So I decided I can do this. I could, as far as owning a business, I know the process. I was able to go to the Viking Alchemist Meadery and volunteer there for a little bit. For a couple days.
In Smyrna, Georgia, just outside Atlanta. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. So I was able to do that, and just that experience, I was like, okay, so this is the volume process.
Yeah.
Just the volume is so different, obviously, from doing a.
And they're even more unique because they have multiple locations. So I mean, they're really going through some volume. Plus, they do online sales, and I know they do other events and stuff like that. So those guys are really pumping out some numbers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're an interesting spot. Everybody told me I needed to try with their Bliss pear mead, and I was pretty taken back by how sweet it was compared to like everything else that they did. It was very interesting. I highly recommend anybody stop by there if you're ever in the Atlanta area. They definitely have a very unique spot, and they have a ton of stuff on tap and everything.
Yeah, like when I was there, they were just getting like, I want to say like 20 or 25 on tap, or
sounds.
It might have been more.
About right.
Like whoa, because they had just switched from their small building to their new one. They were just getting their fire done. But anyway, it was a good learning experience, and then I got to the point where it's like, no, I can do this. So I had spent like a year renovating the building on my father-in-law's property.
Oh, so that's pretty nice that you don't have that you got to not have to go find a piece of property and pay exorbitant amounts of money for it.
Yeah, especially here. I mean, here it's rural, but it's a tourist town. A lot of vacation homes. So and it's so hard to build here because here they got this thing called the Gorge Commission, and you have to go through a lot of legwork to get something built because they want to keep the pristine Columbia River Gorge pristine. So anyway, real estate, it's just a supply and demand thing. So so I'm very fortunate. The building's small, but I'm very fortunate that I can start out from there.
Now, is it a production only facility, or do you guys have a tasting room there as well?
Yeah, I have a tasting room yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it came. I mean, I can technically serve out of my facility, but I live up a little ways up into the mountains, so it's
not really conducive to people just stopping by for a tasting.
I mean, during the summer, we got a lot of trails and stuff, so people do drive up the road. But this last year, it was like the road was under construction for most of the year, so it cut off a lot. So
okay. So you guys,
again, the real estate issue, so I don't have a tasting room yet. We were looking into one, but like going into winter time, that's when it's a little slow here. So I was like, I'm just going to build the following first, and we'll reapproach that next year.
So are you guys just building up inventory, or you guys actually have like accounts that you're selling and distributing through, or is it all online sales right now?
I have online sales. I go through shippers. There's not a whole lot coming from that yet, but I'm in 15 stores now. We just got into 2 Safeways last week.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah, that was yeah. That took 3 months. I mean, when you start getting to corporate, Albertsons, Kroger, that sort of thing, like
Yeah. Well, most people don't even choose to go that route because of how difficult it is, and B, most people can't really keep up with the demand that the stores typically require, or not to say require, but really want to see. From my personal experience, like I tried to work with, do you know who like Bevmo or like Total Wine? Try to work
Mhm.
with those types of places, and they're the same way. They have regulations like you have to go resubmit your labels to them as well, and it's a whole thing. And I know a lot of people don't go that route for that reason, but you did, and you were successful, and that I really hope that works out for you. I haven't seen any mead in a Safeway before, not even a Chaucer, so this is the first.
Yeah, it was it was pretty good. The reason they gave me an idea was because I did the ones that I have that the 2 Safeways here. They do have a mead from Oregon called Honeywood. I think they're more specialized in fruit wines than they
Okay,
do mead, but um, they had a mead, and I had it. It's like, okay, it was a basic
entry level.
traditional basic traditional mead. You could tell that the honey was probably on the cheaper side, and
Yeah,
not to crap about or anything, but they it was
right.
good. Mine is really a lot better personally.
Hey man, might as well
Um,
toot your own horn, man.
yeah. So I just called up the division manager in Portland, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I have some meat. Would you like to, I could have you sample some?" And she's like, "No, we really like to carry local stuff around, especially around the local stores." So she's like, "It is a process to get into the Safeway. So if
Yeah.
you're willing to do it, here are the things that are going to happen." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure, yeah, I'll do it." And
Wow.
and and then you start realizing,
What
oh,
it really is.
oh. It's like for a lot of places they want business insurance for 2 million aggregate coverage. Well, Albertson wants 4 million. So
$4 million bond. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
Holy sh.
yeah. So I was like, okay. So I'm crunching the numbers. All right. Well, if I sell this many this month per month, that'll cover it. So I was like, well, is
Right.
it? It's worth it. I mean, we'll
Do
see.
they give you any sort of do they give you any sort of guarantee like, hey, these are the type of numbers that we see, or is it pretty much just that you are praying and throwing things at the wall?
A little bit of that. They have a way of you have to you can go through their third party um, service that does the tastings,
Oh.
and you can set up a tasting at the store.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, yeah, there's ways to promote your product. As far as their promotion, they just do some pricing stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the legwork is kind of on the producer. I would say.
Wow. Okay. That's yeah. Again, probably another reason why a lot of people probably don't choose to go that route. With because you said your other accounts, I'm assuming are like smaller, like bottle shops and little more places that where people have time to talk to, or there's somebody there to talk to people about the product, as opposed to like the grocery store where there's not necessarily always a dedicated clerk in the wine area to necessarily answer people's questions about your product.
Yeah, right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes. Most of the other places are like beer wine emporiums.
Yes.
I got a
Okay.
there's there- there's one resort that's in between here and Portland that they're going to be pulling in all 3 of my flavors. He wanted
Cool.
the guy there. He was like, "No, I'm going to do a whole bunch of different kinds of meads." And then the distributor that he
Yeah.
to bring him some samples of meat. He was like, it was. He told me it was the most awful thing he's ever had in a glass. He was only going to carry mine.
Oh, hey, that's I guess cross section of news there. He said everything that the distributor brought him was garbage, but he likes yours enough to keep it. Hey man, I say
Yeah,
lock that account down. Try to get some sort of contract with him if you can. Hey, I'll be your exclusive meat producer. We can work on collabs. We can talk about exclusive bottle deals and stuff. I think that's a really cool one that I haven't really heard a lot of people working with either as a resort. I like where your brain's at there.
Yeah, I'm yeah, I'm just going through I'm going through. I got this Excel spreadsheet from FinTech. You've heard of FinTech? A lot of alcohol retailers
Yeah.
use that third-party payment system. Um,
Hmm.
and I was like, and of course, Albertsons was like, yeah, you have to get it. And I'm like, oh, okay, here's another upfront expense. And it
Yep.
wasn't that bad. It was like 280 up front, and then 99 cents per invoice after that.
Oh,
It
that's
might
not terrible.
it might be like an
99
eight.
cents for an invoice is pretty fair.
Yeah, I was like, it's probably better than what Venmo or Stripe or whatever charge. They
Yeah,
charge.
I know Square was even worse. Square was like a flat fee, then a percentage on top of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad you are getting some activity. You've only had your license for what, about 8 months now, 9 months, and you're doing some distribution. You got the online going on. One of the things that certainly caught my eye, and I'm assuming that was 100% intentional, was your guys' marketing campaign. You guys have a very unique, untapped possibly marketing campaign in your. I'll let you speak a little bit more on it, but my interpretation was you guys are basically, the using the sex sells angle of approach to your marketing.
I mean, there is that. However, my idea was that I, a lot of people do the biking thing, which is
Mm.
great. A lot of people do their own kind of brand, which is great. But I haven't quite seen a meat company that went the sexy route, I suppose. I want to make meat sexy. I wanted to take that, that uh, that the honeymoon example,
Mm-hmm.
the honey the story or the is it a myth? I'm not sure if it's actually true.
Fable, yeah,
Yeah,
even yeah,
you send the newlyweds with a month's worth of mead and
yeah,
increase fertility or whatever.
right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Hey, getting drunk
And,
for months is almost guarantee a kid.
right. I mean, it's like why do we drink a lot of times? We drink to relax and
Yeah,
perhaps relax enough to find a partner or whatever. But I think
loosen
it
our
really was.
inhibitions a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
relax a little bit extra than we normally would. Sure, I got you.
So I wanted, I wanted sexy meat, and I wanted to
Okay.
pop on the shelf, and I wanted to see what TTB would allow.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure there's probably going to be not a lot of fight back from them. I guess maybe I don't know. I haven't really seen any imagery. Everything that I've ever heard people getting their stuff kicked back for was always like wording on there and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see what you can get past.
that was a big thing. Yeah, I mean, because we were, I was like, what can we do? And then I started looking at other wine labels and just seeing, okay, what other places have like kind of pushed the envelope a little bit.
Hmm.
And I forget the names, but I was looking. I was like, okay, they're there. And I was at a wine shop at the airport one time, and I was looking up, and they had a bottle way up front. There was a label with a frontal sketch drawing and a pair of tips. I was like, oh,
Hey, that's
all right. I guess that's where
that's
I don't know
legal.
where it is there, but
Yeah.
I like our bottles to really pop on the shelf.
Well, yeah, I got this one here. I popped it open. I had to breathe in here for a little bit.
Sure.
I like the sinuous lines of the face there. I was trying to figure out. My vision is terrible. There's something in her mouth. Is that a cherry and a cherry stem in her mouth there?
It was a droplet.
A droplet, a cherry, and a drop. Okay, there it is. Yes. Okay, I got it. That was a little bit dark for me. I do have to be 100% honest though, man. I went to um, art school and did some graphic design and stuff like that. And the formatting on the back of your label is absolutely killing me. Like I don't know why it like word wrapped all funny, but it like breaks in the middle of paragraphs and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I, I'm just being a nerd about that. I was like, holy cow, I don't understand the printing program there. But what it does tell me on here that I like to hear that it's a cherry and cacao mead, and I'm a huge fan of those.
Yeah, it is. That was my third flavor, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I had two different kinds of cherries I was working with,
Hmm.
and coming down to it, the tart cherry worked best with the cacao.
Sure.
And my wife was like, I don't know if those flavors are going to work. I'm like, yeah, they'll work. I know they'll work. They'll work.
Yeah.
And
All right.
it seems to be quite popular when I do the tastings. My first tasting, actually, I didn't have the label yet, so I couldn't sell it.
Right.
But I had it. It was just like, hey, this is what I got. And
Good.
I would have sold 6 bottles more than I did at the tasting had I had I had the labels in time.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Not being able to sell the bottles when you're doing a tasting is an incredible impediment to the process. All right. We got definitely have some nice strong legs going on here. A few little bubbles in there, but I think that might be because I have one of them glasses that like aerates off the bottom of it. I like the color. It's not brilliant, but it's certainly not like overly hazy or anything. It just looks like it was just a natural process. Just did you probably didn't clarify this with like bentonite or any of the two parts or anything like
Well,
that?
so I clarified it before I put the cherry in, but I
Oh,
did
that'll do it.
fil- but I did filter after I put the cherry in.
I got you. Okay, definitely picking up the cacao heavy on the nose. How many pounds of cherries did you use, or how big was the batch? And how many pounds of cherries, if you remember? I'm always curious to know like
Um,
where
um,
people lie on that.
so I actually used a 100% no additive added or no additive concentrate. So I don't know how many pounds of cherries.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
It's definitely on the semi-sweet side. I'll give you that.
yeah.
Tart, very tart cherry on the front side. The cacao kind of plays in on the back, and then definitely heavy, dry, probably from that cherry concentrate. And the what was the gravity of the mead? Do you remember, or was it all the way dry and you back sweetened it with the juice to the semi-sweet
Yeah,
status?
yeah. It
Okay,
was fermented on dry, then
that's what
back
you.
sweetened. It's at 4.5, 5 bricks.
4.5. Okay, so that's pretty damn low. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what. I can never convert gravity to bricks in my head because I always forget how. But
I, you know, I
um,
with gravity, I just got tired. I just got tired. I just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do bricks. I'm just doing bricks.
there you go. See my buddy Brian down in Brazil popping in. Appreciate you. Says it's always a good idea to avoid adding clarifiers to drinks to avoid altering the flavor. I'm starting to actually believe that myself. I was a big fan of clarifying, and went out and got a bunch of bentonite and been doing all these different things to practice. And I'm really starting to think that I'm not, maybe other than for competition purposes, I'm not going to be clarifying any of my meads. I'm really, it's not for me, I guess, is the best way to put it. But you have a,
Yeah, I mean, that's something I could definitely experiment with. Like anybody could, I suppose.
hmm,
It's
well, I think that
commercial,
as a,
commercial, the commercial aspect of producing versus the home aspect of
right.
producing. It is different.
I was just going to say that people have a
Yeah,
little higher expectation when they buy in a commercial product. When you're sitting on the shelf next to all the other wines and they're crystal clear, and yours is the one that's a little bit hazy, it's going to stand out like a sore thumb.
uh-huh.
Yeah, or have sediment. Oh man, I've seen that too. Lots of times you go in, there's just bottle of sediment, 2, 3 fingers of sediment at the bottom of it. It's like, man, that. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. It's probably just all fruit sediment, but it certainly is unappealing to look at.
Yeah, especially when it's not just like that really really fine sediment. It's that really like just clumps of yeast sediment, and
Oh,
not
that's the worst.
yeah, and it's like nope, nope, that's
Yeah, then
not something I want to put in.
you got to put on your label. It says separation is natural. Please shake well before enjoying, or something like that. Like it's like one of those Dwala juices or something.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying this. I was didn't know what to think of it. I always have this thing. Anybody watches my show, I tend to have a bit of a wince about anything coming out of a 750 bottle. just based on the amount of volume of stuff that goes into it, that it takes to make. You're dedicating to 750. I mean, it typically means you're making a lot, which I don't always associate with using the highest quality products because I'm a snobby bitch, but I'm really actually enjoying this. The tartness of the cherries is very pleasant. There's no fusel alcohol notes. At 12%, you could be getting some of those in there. There's no off flavors or anything like that. That again, the cherry and the cacao, I guess maybe it could be blended a little better because they seem to be layered one and then the other. But altogether, I would give this a solid 37. This is not a bad meat at all.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did want to be careful. I don't want it to be standard for me to like what you said, layer the flavors. I do like my passion fruit mead. That is, the passion fruit is fermented with the honey.
Gotcha.
It is very popular amongst a lot of people. However, for a mead judge, I sent it into a competition as a home brewer or a home mead maker at the time, but anybody would say the passion fruit is overpowering, and that's why I didn't send it to you. But because it's balanced, it's very tart, but you don't get a lot of honey. And I've had several people who really, really enjoy mead, and that's what they look for. And when they're touristing or something like that, they're like, I don't get a lot of honey. I know, but everybody just loves it, so I kept it as it.
Gotcha. And then did you use your own honey for all of these batches, or you're probably produced on the scale where you're having to buy or supplement at least?
Correct. All of my home honey has been mostly made with my own that I collected from my foragers.
Gotcha.
But on the commercial side, we're talking one beehive here because the season is relatively short, as say compared to like Arizona or Texas or whatever.
Okay.
You might get 40 pounds maybe out of a beehive, maybe 60, but
yeah, and that'll go quick.
A 100-gallon batch. That's
for
nothing. 12%. We're talking 250 pounds. So yes, I do outsource. I do outsource mine.
Okay. And is it wildflower? I didn't know if it said on here.
My flavors so far are orange blossom.
Ooh, orange blossom. Okay, well that's even better note because I don't really have a propensity for orange blossom honey either, and I don't get any of those really funky things that I usually get off of orange blossom. So kudos to you in that realm as well. What type of yeast do you use?
Lalvin D47.
Gotcha. Nice for the dark fruits. So
yeah, it's been I've done other yeasts and but I just really like, especially with my traditional, I really liked how that yeast went with the orange blossom because it is dry. It is a dry mead, but if people taste it next to the passion fruit, they were like, "Man, this is sweet," and it's not. I mean, people have said it so many times that I went to the store and grabbed 3 bottles. I grabbed a bottle from 3 different stores, and I bought them. And I measured them just because I was like paranoid that I did something wrong, but they were at 0. So I was like, okay, it's not sweet. It's just a lot of floral characteristic. Not as, I think with the passion fruit, it's tart. There's citric acid quality to it, but that's what kind of makes it more dry.
Oh yeah, I think one of the driest things I ever had was a dry passion fruit cider, and I'll tell you that thing was like, I mean, I'm like salivating just thinking about how dry and tart and puckery that thing was. I mean, it was good. It was well balanced for what it was, but yeah, there's certainly, it certainly takes a certain type of person to drive X amount of miles to grab something like that. And if people are telling you they think it's too dry, no, you said people were saying that it wasn't dry enough?
No, what I was saying was that my traditional, they thought people were getting sweetness off of it after they had tried my passion fruit one. I was like,
gotcha.
dry. It's it's maybe slightly off dry, but it's pretty dry. But what the D47 with that orange blossom, it just really is a really good flavor. It's my favorite so far.
So what? So you have your cherry cacao, you have your traditional, you have the passion fruit one, and what's your other flavor?
Yeah, I got my passion fruit right there.
See, that's a cool label. I like that one with the hair whipped back and
Yeah,
the water coming off it. That's cool.
yeah.
And so
My wife
what's your
has
other?
three. I just have three. I just have three right now that I do
Oh,
commercial.
sorry. I thought you said you had four.
Yeah, yeah. And here's my this one. I mean, I really wish that the label was like off the printer. So I was like, I wish that popped a little bit more. But
Yeah, I'm not really picking much of that
yeah,
up, but you.
it's a you can kind of see
Oh,
where
there
we're
we
going with that.
go. It's a
Yeah.
it's a wolf and a booty. Booty full. I like that. Yeah, so that's you guys are going all out with well, let's say all out, but I mean you're fully invested in this, the sexy mead thing. I mean, there's quite a few, provocative images on there on your site on your Instagram page for, marketing and everything like that. Is that your design in choosing those, or is that hey, somebody let me know if that's me or him cutting out. Please God, please not let it be me. I mean, I'm just on my white.
Yeah. There we go. I got buffering. So I have Starlink,
Oh,
but
there.
I'm out in the middle of the woods.
Oh,
So it sometimes it
sometimes it doesn't
like
fully
interrupt.
Starlink.
Yeah. Well, it tells me I'm obstructed, and I'm not. But it's like
Right.
if there's like a little bit on their little on their app, and they're like, oh, you're obstructed. So sometimes like 2 seconds or whatever. But
Gotcha.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah, we're on Instagram purgatory. I saw that you did a lot.
oh no. I want to know what he saw. I'm interested what he saw and where this is going. Because anybody who hasn't seen his stuff, I highly recommend go check out his Instagram page. Oh, are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. So you saw what now?
You posted something on your story earlier today.
Yeah, I posted something on my story, and I put I wanted to like get show people kind of like what they were going to be seeing on there, and I ended up putting the music thing like right square in the middle of the freaking ad, and it made me feel stupid
Oh,
because you can't fix stories. You can only like take them down and redo them.
oh,
And
okay. I thought maybe you got flagged. I was like, oh man, they're really
no,
on
that
top of it.
was completely my fault. I did it on my break at work, and I didn't have enough time to go back and fix it. And yeah, so but like I was saying, yeah, you have quite a few provocative type of imagery. Marketing photos and stuff on there. Was that your doing? Is that something that you like hired somebody and they did all that stuff, or how's all that working out for you?
That was a collaboration between me and my wife. We did.
Hmm.
I took. She's the photographer, but she did a lot of the costumes
Oh,
and charcuterie board. How do you say
yes.
it?
Yeah.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
never pronounce charcuterie.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we did. It got us put into face or Instagram jail. But
So,
when
oh,
we
you
did
guys are in
it,
Instagram jail for that, huh?
yeah, and then yeah, they flagged like 5. And it's like you look at it, and it's like it's nothing you haven't seen. And there's Instagram stuff that's much
Yeah,
more.
anybody who just opens their search is pretty much likely to see some very equally as provocative. Let's put it that way.
Right. And then so I was like, no, I'm not taking them down because this is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
so we appealed it. You can't talk to anybody. It just goes through an
No.
AI. Right.
My current appeal is on. I think I'm on 22 days, and I keep getting messages. Please be assured that we're working diligently on this. I'm like, diligently, my ass. You're working on nothing. Yeah.
That's
So
just I can only imagine the appeal stack pile though. I mean, just
oh
how
no,
many
yeah.
people
I mean,
are on Instagram?
uh, I bet there's more Instagram accounts than there are people alive. Let's put it that way, or at least there's probably an Instagram account for every person out there. It's phenomenally huge. So no, you're right. It probably does take a while to go through. But did they give you like a defined period of time? Hey, we're going to put you on Facebook jail for, or Instagram jail for, 10 days, or are they just blocking that, one post? Or because I looked today and everything was.
They're just saying remove these 5 things, and it's like, but guess what? I can go throw them on Facebook and nothing.
I wonder if somebody was like flagging them, like going behind you and flagging them or something like that, because that's.
I thought. I don't
That happened
know.
to my YouTube videos for a while. I got.
Well, which is, I thought it was really creative. But we put up that last one. I think a lot of local people. We live in a fairly
You live in rural Washington. It's probably fairly conservative.
conservative, but you cross the river, you go to Hood River, Oregon, and it's like a little offshoot of Portland as far as
right.
It's just this hybrid blend of
yeah,
conservative
and
values
people,
in terms of modesty and whatever else. But
have you guys gotten like direct pushback from people locally?
No, not yet. No, I'm still.
Oh, that's good.
They're doing a wine walk on November 18th for here in White Salmon. And it's a thing they put on twice a year. And
cool.
the person that organizes it, she follows us. After we put that on, we didn't hear anything back from them. And,
oh, really?
The only pushback I ever got, not pushback, but the only thing I ever got was like my first tasting that I did, which was actually it's easier to do tastings in Oregon than it is Washington. But I live right on the border, so I do most of my tastings in Oregon because I can just get my server card and just serve it. Whereas in Washington, it's like as the owner, you're not allowed to serve it. The retailer has to buy the product, and then they have to pay the person to sample it. I can be there to answer questions, but I cannot.
You can't be the one,
right?
Gotcha.
Or it can't be my product; it has to be their product. So I can go to Oregon and just bring my stuff, and it's fine. But whatever.
Gotcha.
But the first time I did it, I got a couple comments like, "Oh, more alcohol in the gorge." It's like, come on.
Really? Man,
we got like 5 breweries in this area. And, there's another meadery actually in Carson, but and we're wine country here. So
right. Well, like my buddies over at Retro down in North Carolina are asking us a wine walk. How does that work? And I'm assuming a wine walk, from my guessing, would be like a pub crawl, or you get a thing where a bunch of people sign up and you go visit all the different places.
Yeah, so it goes to the Chamber of Commerce, and you buy tickets for the event. So you have 10 tickets, and that's how you kind of get around the Washington loopholes. You're not being paid directly, but the tickets get paid to the Chamber of Commerce, which has the appropriate special occasion license or whatnot.
Gotcha.
So, anyway, you buy tickets, and then basically it's a pub crawl except the wine crawl.
Okay.
The wine walk is sophisticated.
Yeah. Well, was it going to be? Was it something that they did like at a center or like at like a park or something like that, or was it something that you would just participate in you hang out at your place, and because you guys don't have a physical location?
Right. So the downtown White Salmon area, the businesses will put up their place of business to host a winery or a meadery or.
Gotcha. And you got booted from, and you got ghosted because because of your marketing is kind of what you're feeling, or you getting the vibe?
Locally?
No, from this wine thing, the wine walk. My understanding what you said earlier was that you basically, the lady who was setting up the wine walk follows you guys online.
What I'm saying is, no, I haven't had any pushback. Even the lady that's doing the wine walk.
I'm sorry, I misinterpreted it. Oh, so you guys are going to participate in that then?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Cool. I'm about to get all mad for you and start writing letters up.
Communication, and Julie's the lady that was doing it.
Oh, okay.
If you're watching.
Okay, cool.
Sorry for the miscommunication. No, she's been really
I'm
great.
sure it was all me not understanding, but very cool. So you got
I think I was the first meadery to request being part of it. I do know there was another one
Mm-hmm.
that is participating, but I don't think they participated in the spring one or prior. I could be wrong. And don't quote me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
everybody's like, that's a good idea. Yeah, that is a very cool idea. I wonder if, man, you've got some neat stuff going on out there in White Salmon, Washington, wine walks and selling meat at resorts and getting them into, nationwide grocery chains. Like, you're doing big things for a little town, man.
Certainly trying.
Well, I think it's definitely coming across that way. So, good for you guys for doing that. One thing that I would definitely have to mention on that, the sexy mead stuff. You got 5 of those things that are on there, and what's it going to be like? You're good? So basically, I'm trying to figure out where you guys are. You guys can't post anything else. You can't make any more marketing material or anything like that.
Yeah, we can post all we want. And then I guess where the benchmark has been set now, we just we haven't been banned from Instagram. It's just that we won't come up in trending. Their algorithms won't push our stuff.
Oh.
You have to actually know
To
our handle
search you out.
To search and to follow.
Gotcha. Okay. It says there were guys in North Carolina asking, what size tanks are you working with? That's a phenomenal question.
I have 100-gallon tanks right now. I have 100-gallon, and then I have some semi-fives that I, transfer into. My facility is quite small, so I got.
Oh yeah.
I got them on the walls, shelves, shelving on the walls and stuff.
Oh yeah, their place is pretty small too. I'm just curious. I'm probably sure that's why they're asking, because those guys have packed a lot into a little area. Oh, apparently they're even jealous of how much room you have.
Yeah, I have 144 square feet. Actually, it's probably 135 because when I renovated it, it's not the most. It wasn't the most square building.
Right. Hey, you make do with what you can do. That's one thing. There's one of my viewers or followers, people that I hang out here on with all the time. His name is Steven Clifford. He's actually probably in here now. Him and I've been talking a little bit back and forth, and he likes watching the videos to hear how people specifically make their meaderies work in these most adverse of situations. And I agree with him. I think that's probably one of my most favorite parts of talking to people is how did you overcome what problems that you had in a unique way, because nobody's everybody's got TTB label issues and cola formula issues and whatnot, or other way around, label issues with cola and formula issues with TTB and whatnot. But everybody always has different ways of fixing their issues with the coming up with the spot to do, or with how to market or how to distribute and stuff. So I love hearing that. So I think you're ahead of most people, even some of the bigger spots, man, that have there's plenty of cats out there that sunk well into 6 figures into opening something and aren't in as many places as you are.
Yeah, so it was interesting. The first live one that I saw was we're at Carrollton, Texas.
Fox and Raven.
But yeah, it was a Raven something. Yeah, Fox and Raven. So when they were talking about how they were doing local markets or farmers markets, and
everything they do is farmers markets.
And then slowly, they're getting requests. I'm like, I ran into a farmers market issue here, because here it's part of a big the farmers markets around here are part of a
coalition or something.
Yeah, so it's you have to source 15% of your stuff locally, and here it's difficult. It's difficult to get the honey that I like, for the flavor profiles that I need to get that year round locally here. So I couldn't. And
a local content restriction. That's pretty unique.
Yeah. So and somebody, actually a friend of ours, was like, "Well, you source your water." Right? So I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Hey, man, I started getting creative as shit with that. Loophole City.
But farmers markets don't go year round here. So
Right.
actually, the last one was, gosh, I think last month, like the beginning of
Yeah.
last month.
Anybody who's been to Washington knows that you don't want to go to a farmer's market in December. That's going to be miserable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know Portland. Portland is one that's year round, rain or shine or whatever. But then it's like if you get into that, then you're paying for a year. Like you're in that one for a year. Portland's an
Oh,
hour
yeah.
away. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how do I, so then it's just these, business problems. Like, what do I do? Okay, do I just wait till spring? So I just
Right.
basically like, all right, I'm at a farmer's market for this year. It sucks. And a lot of the bigger events, we got like Harvest Fest and Hops Fest here. It's like, you got to sign up for that stuff in like March. And I had like just got my liquor license. I didn't know this.
Right. No,
It's
no,
like,
for next year now,
so
though.
much that you don't know. And you're like, oh my God, so many mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to get into as many places as I can, and then hopefully a couple of those do reorders. So
That's cool.
that's where we're at right now.
Nice. And hopefully some places have done a few reorders.
Not yet. No, I mean, but I will say the bulk of my sales have been in the last 2 months.
Oh, okay. So you're basically just now really getting your products out there. You were open but you were in business, but you were probably brewing your products and getting all your other T's dotted and I's crossed and whatever else.
Yeah, I didn't make my first sale till like the middle of June, and that was at a local wine shop.
Oh, okay.
Um, but they were like maybe, I don't know, 3 bottles, and I was like, sure.
Hey, yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what. I distributed in Arizona for a couple years, and I had a lot of mead competition. Arizona is a huge, huge mead state. Um, it, amongst the top as far as I can tell from my travels and what I've seen. And I'll tell you what, so many places have minimum half cased or case purchases that when there's small guys like you or like people that I'm trying to work with and break in, they don't they they get kind of gun shy because they'll end up committing to a full case from something and then it doesn't sell well and then they don't want to do it anymore. So if you're willing to work with people like that on individual bottle sales and you can work with that, man, my hat's off to you because you'd be a lot more successful that way, in my opinion, from my experience in the industry.
Yeah, most of the times when I've been asked, they kind of give me like, "Will you break a case?"
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'll break. Yeah, I'll break a case." Now, I'm asking you buy one case. You can do 6 bottles or whatever, 4 bottles for each flavor. Just make my time worth it. Kind of go out there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally now out in Portland like once a week. Just canvas
Pounding the pavement. Yeah. Have you been to any of the other meaderies in your area and tasted the competition?
I have so Melkme's the closest one. I have had their product. They do a lot of barrel aged stuff.
Yeah.
I can appreciate barrel aged. It's not my favorite. It's
Oh wow. Okay.
strong, just a lot of strong flavor profiles. It can be a little lumpy. But they do have some good stuff that I have enjoyed. Another one's called Weird. I think I haven't been there.
You have got to get down and check out Weird. That place is going to be an experience. Travis, the guy who runs it, is a phenomenal human being, and they make some. I've had some of their meads I didn't care for, and I've had other ones that I thought were, phenomenal. So, but he's doing a lot. They've gone through a lot of changes, so definitely go down there and check those guys out. I think they could be one of your biggest, biggest helpers down there. They can give you some pointers. Travis is well into helping other businesses, local area businesses succeed. So I would, again, definitely reach out to those guys.
That's good to know. I will certainly do that.
Yeah, and then Peter over at Second City Meadery in Chicago says you get a +1 for selling partial cases. Yeah, again, I think that will only benefit you. I know it's kind of annoying, and you're selling more cases, but at least initially, if you're willing to sell partial cases, you're definitely. It's a good way to get yourself into places to pass people's kind of about things because mead doesn't always have the best reception. I mean, you've been to places people like the one place. Oh, I had the distributor bring me mead and I hated every single one. He could have brought 3 or 4 different meaderies, and you are now up here and you build a phenomenal reputation with that guy. So definitely don't get down on yourself for selling half cases. or parts of
Yeah,
places.
yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, and what I like about that place is like they film a lot of movies and stuff there,
Oh hell yeah!
TV shows.
I was
Every time I go
100%.
there, camera crews. There's constantly people going through that resort.
Dude,
Close to me, a lot.
I would make
Everybody
that place
is.
my spot. I would be down there as much as possible, trying to push as much meat as I could through that place and get that. I mean, as we talk about it, I'm running all the different scenarios. Like, I don't know why I never did that when I was in Arizona. Like, go to the resorts and try to push meat at the resorts. I mean, that is, I'm sure somebody mentioned it and I didn't hear them. Most exclusively, probably talking to my wife who's watching. But no, dude, I think that's awesome. And dude, kudos to you for that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what's your next steps? What's the biggest the next things we can see for the rest of the year and going into the future? I'm assuming just growing.
Um, so the next step is to sell the inventory I have so I can buy more honey so I can do my next flavor.
Ain't that always how it goes? It's like you got all your money tied up in products. Now you need to sell your products so you can make more. That fine balance of the ebb and flow of income and outgoing, paid and loss, and all that crap.
Yeah.
Man, well, I'm hoping. Go ahead.
It is nice to like just see month by month. It's the financials just look a little better. Like it
A
just
lip,
you get to that last, the end of the month. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
wow, that's a little bit better than it was last month. So that's
right.
encouraging. It's encouraging to hear the feedback from people who don't like me. I've had like 2 sommeliers now be like, "What are you doing? Just don't even waste my time." And I was
Right.
like, I'm just asking you to taste it. That's all. I'll get out of
Yeah.
your hair.
I'm asking you to buy it. Just try it.
And they're like, oh my gosh, the first one was like, I am not proven wrong very often. And then she bought it. Yeah, she bought a case plus a couple of bottles of the passion fruit.
Yeah.
And then the other one, she was like, oh my god, I'm so used to meat being like syrupy. Or I was like, hey, there are syrupy meats out there, but I don't, it's like, is that common? How common is that? But I've heard several people, say that. But she was like, no, this is really, really good.
Yeah. It's not often you find places doing a dry mead really, really well. There's plenty of places that do dry meads, but for a place to do it well, especially one like you're saying with the passion fruit, which again comes off is super dry, and you're making it a solid drinkable product. There's a big misnomer out there, in my opinion, from my research, that sweet meads rule the world, and everybody loves a sweet mead and everything. It's most definitely the other way around. Dry meads are everywhere. Everybody prefers semi-sweet to dry stuff. The vast majority of people. So
Yeah,
if
I went to the first
AMMA,
American Mead Makers Association. Yeah, I went to the first one they did, the year one. I went to that. I just went there as a person, but I bought tickets because I was like, I'm a enthusiast.
yeah,
And I remember, then they had the meetup,
hmm
and that's where you could taste everybody's, and it was like I wanted so bad to like a dry traditional. I really
yeah,
wanted to like a dry traditional, but a lot of them, if I remember that I remember, like the alcohol was high, and it really burned the throat going down. And it's just not a lot of, there wasn't a lot of. I was like, I want to like a dry traditional,
hmm
and I do remember. I think it was Moonlight Meadery.
out of New Hampshire, yeah.
They had one that I really really liked.
They would actually, I would say might be one that kind of has a similar, the closest thing to releasing like a sexy marketing thing, because they have some, I say risque names, but they have some like desire and sensual and stuff like that. So if you like their stuff, yeah, I think you're in good
Yeah,
company.
I saw Superstition. I saw they're on their Instagram like a couple weeks ago. And it was like I don't know, I forget.
Superstition does all sorts of weird stuff. Like I like,
Something. It was BDSM. And I was
yeah,
like,
they've got a BDSM one. They've got a couple other ones that they kind of put out that they try to be tongue in cheek with. Yeah, I don't have lots of things to say about superstition. They're they do what they do, and
I will say they market well. I
I'll,
mean,
I'll I'll give them that. Yeah, they market incredibly well, and I'll tell you what, a lot of mead makers, myself included, I'll be the first one to tout that flag, wouldn't have nearly the ability to do the things we do without them pushing as much, and they're advocating way more for product. Now, whether you like it or not is a whole nother story, but they do a ton of advocacy for the product, and I'd be forever thankful for them, to them for that. So definitely cool in my book for that. So what's you said the future is just selling product and getting ready to buy more product. Are you going to try to do any single varietal traditionals or anything like that? I'm a sucker for single varietal traditionals.
Yes, I guess I will. I'm sure a lot of people know what meadow foam honey is, but
well, you're in the area too.
Yeah, exactly. And I made just a gallon batch a couple of years ago, and it was awesome. And I want to do it again. It's just difficult. It's difficult to source that in time, and
it's difficult to source that in financially.
Yeah,
meadow foam honey is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. So I like to play around with the meadow foam.
Yeah.
Different kinds of traditionals. Just because of this one, my staple one is really good. I do want to play around. You still? Yeah. I want to play around, with that a little bit. I want to try different yeast. Not maybe last week, but the week before. I forgot his name. Out of Everett.
Oh, Eric. Up in the Sear.
Yeah, when he was talking about the scientific ways, take a 6-gallon batch, split it into 1 gallon. I'm like, dude, yeah, that's exactly what I do. That's awesome.
Yes.
So,
cool.
We'll play around with that. I want to. I made a kiwi ginger mead one time, and it was amazing. And I want to do that again, just on a commercial scale.
I have to say, ginger is probably one of the mead flavors I think I've managed to not have any of them. Not necessarily avoiding them, I just don't think I've really come across any ginger meads in my travels, which is interesting because I kind of like ginger ale and ginger beer, so ginger mead seems like it'd be right up my alley.
I was in Dubai on a business trip, and I was, sitting at the pool or whatever, and I saw this drink. I'm like, kiwi ginger, that sounds interesting. I don't do fruity drinks that much, but I was intrigued at the flavor combo, so I had it. I was like, oh man, I can do that. And I did it, and it turned out. It was a session, though. It was a session, but it turned out really good. It was carbon and all that stuff, but I was like, those two flavors go really well together. So picking the right kind of honey to do that with, I really want to be able to do that and have that. That's a summer drink, I would imagine. So I'm gonna, do something like that.
Yeah, I hate that there's a drinking pattern to that stuff. That these things like stouts are winter drinks, and these, IPAs are, not supposed to be drank at all, and pilsners are something lighter for the spring and summer and stuff. So I don't know. I say drink whatever makes you happy when it makes you happy. And I'll tell you what, a kiwi.
With my 3, I'm like, each day I'm like, I feel like this one. It's we're getting into winter, and the passion fruit one's still nice and crisp sometimes, and even it's cold.
Exactly. Mint is wintry, and it's got a nice crisp bite to it, and then people drink that when it's cold outside. So I say you're in good business drinking a crisp, dry mead when it's cold outside.
I agree, and I do it.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you for joining me today, Jonathan. Anybody who hasn't followed, I'm going to butcher it, Ananke Mead Company out of Washington, White Salmon, Washington, down there on the Columbia River, just out northeast of Portland, Oregon.
About just straight east.
Straight east of Portland, Oregon, over there on the Washington side of the river. So don't go driving on the Oregon side. You won't be able to get across.
We got a bridge. Right there.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So our website's www.anankemead.com. So it's ANANKEMEAD.com.
There you go.
We're
follow on Instagram.
We're on Facebook jail, so we're on Facebook too, and Twitter though. Twitter's gonna get a little bit. Twitter needs some more love right now. So or Z, whatever X, whatever it's called now.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, I hope everybody goes over, gives you a follow, build up your social medias, get you out of that Instagram jail, build up that Facebook and everything like that. And Peter over there, Second City says, best of luck. I will leave you with that as well, man. Best of luck, and I hope to hope we can speak again in the future. No problem, man. I had to, like I said, I had to find out a little bit more about this sexy mead marketing thing. It caught me off guard. But I'm glad you talked to me. And like I said, good for you, and I'm here for it, man. Have a good rest of your evening, brother.
You too.
Bye. Well, everybody, that was a phenomenal interview. I always like talking to people, again, who are equally as passionate in what they're doing as I am, or usually more so than I am. But next week, we're going to be speaking with Carlos from Texas Longhouse Mead. He is in the process of going through the opening of his meadery, getting his building built and all that stuff. So we'll have him on, and we'll, pick his brain and see what he's got going on. And leading into the end of the year, we got some more great interviews coming up. So see you guys every Wednesday about this 6 o'clock time. Have a great rest of your night. Peace.